Hello, brothers and sisters. I want to share with you my last few Rapture dreams. So on Heshvan 16, November 20th, I had a dream of going in to buy a house. And then I went to the bathroom and there was like one of those hot spa tubs, like kind of form of triangle, and it was white, and at the very bottom it had that grippy texture for your feet so you wouldn't fall. And in the grooves there seemed to be like some kind of stain, and I asked the person selling the house, and she said that her friend had just been killed in the house and she couldn't stand living there anymore, and so she needed to get out. And so she started cleaning up the blood from the bottom of the bathtub, and kind of like the cleaning crew didn't do a good enough job, and it just felt so sad that her friend had to start cleaning up her own friend's blood. And I'm not exactly sure what the house means, but it might mean selling a house after something bad has happened in it for new occupants. And this might relate to an old body, new body, taken up to a new earth or something like that. I'm not exactly sure about this one. On Heshvan 19, or November 23rd, I had a dream of walking into a store, and they have those like grocery bags pre-filled with food that you can buy for a needy family. And I started opening up some of the bags to see what was inside of them, and I was like, all right, what am I, buying for people? And they were half eaten. Like there was peanut butter that somebody had taken a spoon and eaten half of it and left the spoon in it, and it was like almost filled with garbage. And so I had bought one, and I didn't look inside of it, and I go and I gave it to someone, and they opened it, and there was this huge garden inside of it, like a whole bunch of plants. And I'm like, this isn't food, this is just plants. But this is like the garden of life. Spreading the gospel is spreading the garden of life. It will grow into an amazing garden that will feed a person for a lifetime. Now, there's a parable of the fisherman. So you can fish for fish and give that fish to someone else and they'll eat for a day. But if you give a person a fishing pole and teach them how to fish, they'll be able to fish for a lifetime. I'd woken up to write that dream, and then I went back to sleep, and then I had a dream of going to a movie theater. And then that day I went driving and I picked up someone going to the movie theater, and they were very receptive to the gospel, and they asked me, hey, did you have a dream about me? And I'm like, not that I can remember. But then after she got out, I realized, wait, I did have a dream of going to a movie theater. On Heshvan 20, or November 24th, I had another dream of diving into the sea, and I floated down in scuba gear with someone else, and we were trying to find the lost city of Atlantis. Now this reminds me of one of my passengers who was literally possessed by Lucifer, obsessed with the city of Atlantis. And so we actually went into the city of Atlantis, and when we got inside, there was just a few people, and it turns out it was just a mall. It was very worldly. The mall represents the world, like, just physical things. And so we were walking around, and I saw this person in the spirit that had gotten into my cab, and they were wandering around this mall, and all of a sudden they saw me, and they tried to jump from the second floor down to the level ground, and I thought, well, they're gonna break their legs. So I actually went and I grabbed them, and I said, hey, I have a question for you. Now, before I picked that person up, I had a dream of multiple women writhing around in like a sensual way, and they're only doing it for pleasure, not procreation. And I asked her, why did I have that vision? And she said, because I do what I want to do. I then had another dream of holding a block of wood, one of those square blocks of wood, and it was just plain, and all of a sudden I held it up and I was like, Lord, please show the people a sign that you are the one that knows all. You are the one who controls. Show them a sign that you are working through me. And all of a sudden the block just started to float and move. And, he was lifting it up and moving it to say, hey, I am working through this man. Just last night, Heshvan 22, November 26th, I had a dream of driving with some people to a music festival. As we drove, we saw this huge stadium, like a round red disc. It almost looked like a frisbee kind of set in the sand. And as we were driving, we saw the stage, and we parked, we came in, and I felt like I was trying to lead them to a certain place within that music festival. And as we were going, there were just zombies walking around like, and then a whole bunch of drug addicts trying to come at us in order to try and take things from us and ask us for more drugs. And so I went and I took them to the place where they needed to be. And all of a sudden, there was a baby who needed a diaper changed. And so we changed their diaper, cleaned them up, and then that was it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the stories that people have told me. I usually ask people if they've experienced anything supernatural when they get in my cab. And I say about 75% haven't, and about 25% have. One person said that they had a friend, and they were going, and all of a sudden they saw their friend, and they had a conversation with them, and then they departed. Well, it turns out that friend had died 3 hours prior. Another person had a friend, and it was like they were really young, and later on they had a dream about this friend, about seeing them or their picture and seeing what they looked like. And so that day they actually went online and they found their friend on social media, and it looked exactly like what they saw in their dream. Another person was with their friends, and they went investigating to an A-frame house, is what they called it. And this one friend said, nothing ever happens. And all of a sudden, a fire poker, which was inside of the house, went and shot into a door right next to them. And that's all I can remember from their stories for right now. So, amen, God bless, and take care, you guys.